nutrition to me with Kelly Springer. Kelly, how are you? And
Fantastic.
getting all crazy. You talking about the glasses and everything. That just made me thinking from our last podcast we recorded. But the guest today is fantastic, and Kelly utilizes guests just I utilize guests, getting firsthand knowledge about
Yep.
things.
That's what I'm excited. I'm big on education, and our guest today, Dr. Deb Matthew, is truly educating people on hormones. And so I love this. I'm dead in perimenopause right now. I don't even know what that means. I don't even know where I am, what I'm doing, but I'm really excited because she is talking about America's happy hormone doctor. I love that. She's a physician, best-selling author, international speaker, and I could go on and on because this is the best bio ever. But what I'm really going to focus on today's podcast is that she has a title that is This Is Not Normal, A Busy Woman's Guide to Symptoms of Hormone Imbalance. And it's helped over 4,000 women and men rebalance their hormones. So welcome to the show. I am one of those people that needs a little rebalance. I'm excited to hear there's so much information coming out. I just even feel in the last couple of years, it's confusing, but also exciting.
It is. And there's so much that women need to know that like we didn't know. And there's so much
Right.
that doctors need to know because we did not get taught this in medical school. And that is a huge problem.
Yes, I agree. So just so you know, I am married to a doctor and he couldn't tell you the first thing about what's happening to me. So,
Yeah. So that was my experience personally. I was in my late 30s. And let's be honest, when you're in your 30s, menopause is like literally the last possible thing on your mind. And I was tired all the time. I wanted a nap every day. I was cold all the time. I wore a sweater even in the summer in North Carolina. And I was so irritable. Like I would just fly off the handle at my kids over every little thing. And then I felt so guilty because I didn't want to be this monster mommy, but like I just could not help myself. And honestly, it was my husband who bore the brunt of my Wicked Witch of the West impersonation, because often it is our partners, right? And he didn't know what the heck to do with me either. It was so confusing because nothing in my medical training helped me understand what was going on. And I talk to women who are going through this all the time. They go to their doctor to say, this is not normal. This is not, I don't understand. And they've walked in looking for hope and answers. And what do they walk out with? Like another prescription, right? For sleeping pills, for antidepressants, for birth control pills. But if hormone imbalances are the real underlying problem, the antidepressants aren't really going to fix it. And what ends up happening, I think, for a lot of women is we just start to think, maybe I'm just lazy, or this is like a personality defect, or we start to act like Karens. You know how we got all these,
yeah,
you look at these ladies and right, they're saying stupid things and doing stupid things. They tend to be women in a certain age bracket. And my very unscientific theory is they're going through perimenopause. They're just kind of having a hormone moment.
yes, we are having hormone moments. And it's interesting that you say what you just said because my husband's, I think you might need like an anti-anxiety med. And I'm like, I don't need an anti-anxiety. Like something's not normal. But I went years ago to an OBGYN and I walked in saying, this is not normal. And he said, no, this is your new normal. Like, good luck. Like, good luck to you. And I can't wait because I have 2 daughters of my own, 2 stepdaughters. And I hope when they are my age, there is so much more information because of people like you out there. And sorry, Neil, for this being a full-blown women's topic. I know that the doctor does a lot with men's health too, but I just am really curious of how you go about getting testing done and what do you do to balance the hormones back? Because that's what I still can't figure out.
Yeah. Okay. And so the reason that it's hard for you to figure it out is because it's confusing. And it's very confusing for doctors, which means that when women go in to ask these questions, we get all these different answers because it's confusing for doctors too. So the reality is when we're in this perimenopausal time in our life, which is really anywhere from 35 on until you hit menopause, which is somewhere usually in your early 50s, there's a lot of variation in this. Our hormones are chaotic. They're up, they're down, they're this way this month, they're that way that month. So what a lot of women are told, if you march into your gynecologist's office or your family doctor's office and it's some random Tuesday afternoon, what they'll say is there's really no point in us measuring your hormones because next week they're just going to be different. And that absolutely is true. But we know that it changes and there are ways that we can work around it. So the analogy that I like to use is your blood sugar varies all day long. Like after you've eaten, it's going to be up. When you first wake up in the morning and you haven't eaten all night, it's going to be lower. If you just eat a piece of chocolate cake, it's going to be higher. So it's not that we say we can't measure your blood sugar because it's changing all the time. It's just that we set the parameters. We want you to be fasting. Or when you're pregnant, we make you drink that nasty sugary stuff,
Yeah.
right? So we do at a certain time after you've drunk that certain amount of sugar. We just have to put parameters. It's the same thing for hormones. So the best time for us to measure a woman's hormones when she's perimenopausal is about a week before her period, because in the middle of in the month, around about day 14-ish, we ovulate and our hormones, our estrogen spikes up. There's a big change. And then between ovulation around day 14 and when your period starts, day 28, we're counting day 1 as the first day of your period. So that last 2 weeks of the cycle, you're supposed to make a lot of progesterone. And the first thing that goes wrong in perimenopause is you don't make so much progesterone. And progesterone is the calming hormone. It's the one that lets you sleep soundly through the night. So you're not waking up at 2 a.m., 4 a.m., staring at the ceiling, going over your shopping list.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the one that helps you feel calm and chill. So when your kids leave all their shoes at the door and you trip over them, you go, oh dear, as opposed to
Yeah.
one that helps you feel calm and relaxed so you don't feel anxious and slip out over all these stupid little things. And then 3 days later, you look back on it and think, oh my God, what was I thinking? If we want to measure progesterone, we want to measure at the right time in the cycle. It's about a week before your period. But that's why it's so difficult to get your hormones measured, is because it matters when we measure them. There's all different tests that we can do. And this is not part of our medical training. And literally doctors are taught not to measure your hormones, which isn't very helpful.
So if they're not taught to measure them, what do we do? What do you do in this situation?
Yeah. What do you do?
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, you can ask. More and more doctors are starting to learn. So at least you can ask. The one that they typically will measure for you is called FSH. It stands for follicle stimulating hormone. And it's a marker for how well are your ovaries still working. If it's low, that means your ovaries are working well and that you're still quite far away from menopause. If it's gone up, it means your ovaries aren't working as well, and it means that you're nearer to menopause. But that's all it really tells you. It doesn't tell you you're making progesterone, and is that why you're anxious, etc. But there are things that we can do with or without a test in order to help. The first is recognize if this might be the problem. And the best way that you can put your finger on, is this kind of a hormonal thing? Is this perimenopause? Is if your symptoms are cyclic. So if you're, a typical pattern is the week after your period, that's usually the good week. That's the week where you feel emotionally stable, you feel energized, you're going to the gym, you're chopping up your broccoli, you're cleaning out your closets, you feel pretty good. And then the middle of the cycle is when you ovulate. When some women can feel it, some people have no idea. But then if it starts to go downhill and right before your period, you're more emotional, you're more anxious, you are waking up in the middle of the night, you're having night sweats, if you're flipping out over dumb things, if you can't stand your husband because he's chewing too loud, if these things are happening to you before your period, and then you start to feel better once your period is underway, and then you feel better the week after your period, then you know it's your hormones. For a lot of women, they don't feel good the day or so before their period. Maybe they cry easily or whatever, but if it's just one day and you know what's going on, we can make it through. What tends to happen in perimenopause is PMS gets worse. And instead of 1 or 2 days, it can become like 1 or 2 weeks. It can be so much more exaggerated. It can be like a big problem. And you get to the place where you have one semi-normal week a month and the rest of the time you feel like a hot mess. It doesn't have to be that way.
I think it's amazing what you're doing. There's so many women that are suffering, and it's still, a lot of it is still unclear. So I was one of those women. I went to my primary care and she did, I think, one of those tests, and she's like, "You're fine. You're not." And I'm like,
Yeah.
fine is a weird word. Like I am.
You're normal. Yeah. What it means is you don't currently have a terrible disease. Thank goodness. That's good.
Yeah.
But you could feel better and you deserve to feel better. It's just that we weren't given the tools to do it. And sometimes you can help really make a big difference with your symptoms with some lifestyle things that we can talk about. But if you do the lifestyle things or, you're already doing them and you're still having problems, sometimes it just means you have to find a different doctor.
Yeah. And someone who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Where are you located and where can
Uh,
we find you?
Yeah. So I am in Charlotte, North Carolina. My practice is called Signature Wellness. The website is signaturewellness.org. And there's lots of information on the website to help women understand better what's going on. What do the hormones mean? What hormone could be the one that's bothering them and where they can get help.
That's amazing. And you said there's an ebook?
Yeah, I wrote this book, the book that you mentioned, right? This is not
Yeah.
normal. I wrote it to help women understand what's going on. Could it be their hormones? There's checklists so that you can go through. Is it progesterone? Is it a different hormone? Testosterone, cortisol? And you can download a free copy at isityourhormones.com. And there are also resources in there for where you can find a doctor who can help you if your doctor's not up on how to help.
Okay, that's really good to know. That's really good because I think we're all searching. I know a few of my friends are like, this worked for me, that worked for me. Who do you go to? Who's your person? We're all trying to help each other in some underground way. So I think
Women helping women, though, that's wonderful. We want to be supportive.
we do. We totally do.
Dr. Deb, if they're in different areas of the country, do you have recommendations of different,
Really, what you're looking for is you are looking for what I recommend is a functional medicine provider. This is somebody who deals with hormone health, but not just hormones, because this is not about giving you a hormone replacement prescription instead of an antidepressant. This is about getting to the root cause of why your hormones are causing a problem in the first place. Because all women are going to go through perimenopause and menopause, but not all women have a whole host of problems. Some women
Right.
sail right through and they feel fine. So why you? So what we want to do is we want to address hormone balance using lifestyle, nutritional factors, nutritional supplements, etc. We want to address the toxins in your system from the environment, plastics, pesticides, things that muck up your hormones because they're literally called hormone disruptors or endocrine disruptors. We want to address gut health because your gut is really important for hormone health. So if you've got bloating or heartburn or constipation or whatever, it's a sign that something's not quite right in there. And we also want to work on lifestyle factors, managing stress. Stress is a huge cause of hormone issues for women. We want to make sure you're eating the right foods to get the nutrition you need to make your hormones. And we're all different, so there's no one right thing. We want you to eat healthy foods, but they need to be the right foods for you. We need you to move your body. So there's a whole process in order to have healthy hormones and to feel your best. And so we want somebody that's going to look at the big picture, not just write you a prescription.
Absolutely. No, I think that's where I think hopefully I do see it though. Medicine is moving towards more holistic and looking at everything. It's not just sick care, but getting into healthcare, what's going on with that whole person.
Thank goodness. And unfortunately, still, when doctors work for insurance companies, for big hospital systems, when we're trained a lot under the influence of the pharmaceutical industries, we're not really allowed to do this. We have 10-minute appointments. If we don't follow what the insurance company dictates, we don't get paid. What a lot of practitioners who really want to help their patients, what they're doing is they're moving out of that kind of system so that we work for our patients. We don't work for the insurance company or the hospital system. We can spend more time. We can dive deep. We can look at things that really make a bigger difference for our patients, and we can make such a bigger impact.
I agree. I completely agree. And I'm literally living proof that the other system doesn't work.
Right? That we can take somebody who doesn't feel good. We can work on their nutrition. This is one of the things we try to do. Somebody comes in the door, we take a whole history. We talk about how we need to do like the whole process here, not just a hormone prescription. And the first thing that we do is we start working on nutrition while we're waiting for the hormone tests to come back. And we can help them with food and clean things up. By the time they come back a couple of weeks later, they're sleeping better. Their hot flashes are diminished. Their bloating is gone. They've lost 5 pounds. There's so much that we can do with food to help balance hormones. So we really need
The whole approach. I completely agree. Nia, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, when Dr. Deb, you see medicine finally moving towards more of the functional side that you guys do?
It has started. When I first started doing this back in 2006, any kind of nutritional supplement was considered just crazy quackery, like vitamin D or fish oil. All of that was just considered woo medicine and looked down upon. And now the doctors are much more routinely recommending nutritional supplements as part of their care. They still are not well educated on nutritional supplements, but at least they're more open to learning about it. So I feel I've seen a lot of changes over the last almost 20 years, but medicine changes so slowly. It's just really painful. And the fear, let me just say one more thing about perimenopause and menopause, is we doctors have caused so much fear over hormones. Like, we make it sound like hormones are dangerous, but
Right.
hormones are really important, and they help us to prevent a lot of diseases with aging, heart disease, dementia, osteoporosis, like stress incontinence. Who wants to pee their pants when they get old? There's so much that hormones do for us, and we don't need to be afraid of them, because the studies that kind of suggested that hormones cause breast cancer, et cetera, they've been debunked. It's a myth. We are much better off hormonally balanced than we are hormonally deficient. And so there's no need to put up with feeling old and dry and achy and gaining weight. And it just doesn't have to be that way.
The same thing came out in testosterone. That study was incorrect. In the
Yeah,
fact
testosterone is so
Testosterone-
important for men, and it's so important for women. For all of us, we deserve to be hormonally
to that
balanced.
point about testosterone in women.
Yeah,
look
so
way
women,
out of counter
if you
than-
can believe this, have more testosterone than estrogen. It's just that men have 10 times more testosterone than women do. But testosterone is hugely important for women. It's made in our ovaries. It goes down. It goes down definitely at menopause. But by the time women are in their 40s, it's really common for testosterone to be low. And it's our motivation. It's our get up and go, get things done, feel confident, have self-esteem. We call it the CEO hormone. It gives you your decisiveness. So if testosterone levels go down, we just feel blah, flat. We put one foot in front of the other. We make our way through the day. And if it has to happen today, we'll find a way to make it happen. But if it doesn't really have to happen today, we kind of procrastinate. We don't really feel like it. Like, when I say that, women are generally like, not like,
Yes.
oh, that's me. I can relate. And it doesn't have to be that way. But the problem we have is there's no FDA approved testosterone treatment for women. And that makes it really hard for doctors. We can prescribe testosterone for women. We can use the men's FDA approved and just give 1/10 of the dose, which doesn't seem very accurate to me. Or we can get it from a compounding pharmacy that will personalize the prescription. So we can prescribe it, and it makes such a huge difference for women. But it's really hard for regular doctors because they can't look in their little book and see what's the prescription, how do I write it, because there's something like that doesn't exist. It exists in Australia, so maybe we'll get it one day, but it's a huge disservice to women.
And it's not talked about. And see,
And
you
it's not talked about.
so Kelly, have you heard that a lot about the testosterone? I understand about
It's all, I mean, women's
growing.
health. So I was just saying to Neil, we're doing a women's health innovations summit. There'll be more to come. This is gonna be our first one. And we're really excited because there's new technology in women's health, and there's a lot of cool people that we're bringing to the table. And I'd love next year to get you there. And we just haven't had anyone looking at women's health for so long. And now we're having the Halle Berrys and Oprah and all these different people coming out and speaking about it. And I'm so grateful, but I watched my mother suffer through it. I'm now physically understanding what this feels like. And I really, like I said, I hope that we get this figured out so my daughters don't have to experience it.
Women have the highest rates of suicide when we are in the perimenopausal phase because it affects our mood. We have really high divorce rates because sometimes we're not in our nicest behavior, or we're not very tolerant. So like, it's not too loud. We just want to laugh.
Yeah. You don't feel good. You don't feel good. So
it has impacts on our children, right? If we're screaming at our children because we have no patience, like it doesn't have to be that way. It's really the bottom line. If it's happening to you, understand it's your hormones. Like it's a phase of life, but you do not have to put up with feeling this way. We can help you balance your hormones. It's just that we weren't given these tools in medical school. Please understand if your doctor isn't if like women feel like they're not being listened to, they feel dismissed, like you say, right? You're normal, there's nothing wrong, your labs are fine. But if you feel that way, it doesn't mean it's good that you're not sick, but it doesn't mean you have to put up with feeling this way. It just means that unfortunately your doctor's not going to be the person who helps you, and you need to find somebody else, and you deserve to find somebody else because you do not have to put up with it.
Now, I think about that. How will this revolution, you're helping this revolution, Dr. Deb, by getting out here nationally, speaking everywhere. What's the latest news with Dr. Deb? What other stuff? You talked about specifically enough your giveaway, but what else is new?
Yeah, I have a great team at my practice. We look after patients from all over the country. So if you do want to be our patient, you have to fly in to see us. We're in Charlotte, it's a busy airport, easy to get to. And then after we see you in person, we can do the rest by telehealth. But I can have more impact, not just sitting one-on-one across the table from somebody, but by helping other practitioners. So I spend a lot of time training practitioners how to practice medicine this way and also how to open their practices, because we doctors don't know how to run. Really, if you open your own practice, it's running a business, and we don't know how to do that. So it's very difficult, and doctors stay trapped in the insurance hospital systems because that feels safe. And so we need to help them see a path to really practicing medicine the way that they feel is best for their patients and where they can get the best patient outcomes.
That's amazing. So say once again where we can find you.
Yeah, so signaturewellness.org. And if you want to download a free copy of the book, it's isityourhormones.com. And if you want the hard copy, it's on Amazon.
I love it. Thank you, Dr. Deb. I learned a lot. I'm sure everyone that's watching learned a lot. And I know we have a lot of female followers. And if you are a man, definitely get this copy of the book for your partner. And so that we can all understand a little bit more. So I appreciate your time today. Thank you, Neil, for getting this arranged. And I can't wait to learn more.
All right. And you can go to kellyschoice.org or pick up your book.
Yeah, the New Weight Loss Era is right on Amazon. So you can go there to get the book and look forward to it. Thank you so much, Dr. Deb.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right. That was a special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and Talk Nutrition to Me, guys. Take care.